everyone, this is Terry from terryscraftroom.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Today we're going to use the Have a Hoot bundle to make these awesome Halloween cards. Now this bundle not only has Halloween owls, but it also has Christmas owls, and this one could be used for birthdays and just lots of different occasions depending on how you color them. And the bundle comes with lots of different cutouts in the dies, and one more cutout which we're going to use, which I've already got mounted here, but we're going to use the cutout part of it, not the tags, for our card front. So let's get started. So what we need for our cards is we need a regular card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we'll just go ahead and fold and burnish that and set it aside. Excuse me, set it aside. Then we need a piece of Cajun Craze that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. We need a piece of Whisper White that is 5 1/4 by 4, and this is for the inside. Okay, so we'll set that aside. We need a piece of Whisper White that is 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then we need a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 3 7/8 by, 3 7/8 this way by 5 1/8. And that's going to be on top of this. So this is going to be the way these go. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've got this situated on top of this die situated on top of my Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to go over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so here we have, we're going to use this piece, not these pieces. So here's the die, and it's got the beautiful stitched edges on both the outsides and the insides cutouts, so that you can use them either side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay our piece of Whisper White, our smaller piece of Whisper White, onto our Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to get a pencil, and I'm just going to lightly mark the openings so I know where I want to stamp. So let's set that aside here. So now you can see where my openings are. Okay, let's get some black ink. Okay, and I'm going to stamp my owl with jack-o'-lantern in the littlest opening. There. I'm going to stamp my owl sitting on the branch here in the biggest up and down opening, vertical opening. And then I'm going to stamp Have a Hoot on Halloween. And this one I'm going to stamp to the lower part of that opening. You see that opening goes all the way here, and I'm stamping it to the lower edge of that. And you'll see the reason for that in a minute. Okay, so now we can erase our lines, because we don't want them showing. Now when you do this, don't use the eraser on the back of a pencil. Use a really good eraser, because all the eraser on the back of a pencil is going to do is smear your project. There. Now I'm going to go ahead and color this. So I'll speed up the camera so that you don't have to sit and watch the tediousness of my coloring. And there you have it. Our colored Have a Hoot on Halloween. And everything fits perfectly within their little windows. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I don't want this, if you look, this Whisper White is pretty stark against the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tone that down some. So I'm going to take my little sponge dauber here, along with a piece of scrap paper. And notice I'm starting off the paper because I don't want the sponge dauber to be really dark. I want to just darken down the area without getting a real dark splotch. Okay. And once I think I've got what I want to put it back in my windows just to make sure that I don't have a white spot where I thought I should have darkened something down, and then I can redarken it down just like that, so it's not so stark white. Okay, and while I'm darkening things down, I'm going to darken up the moon. I think my sponge dauber is falling apart here, but that's okay. So I'm going to darken up the moon, and then I'm going to put that on. And you want to make sure you put your moon on before you put everything together, because it's really hard to cut once it's on its backing. But it's very easy to cut at this point in time. Just like that. And then we'll darken down these edges too. There. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I've got some bats here that I've punched out. Whoops. If I don't drop them in my lap here. I've got some bats here that I've punched out, and this spider web is one of the cutouts in this set, so it comes with it. So I cut the spider web out and then cut it in half so it'll fit in my card's motif. And then I'm going to take some Wink-a-Stella and I'm going to Wink-a-Stella my bats. This looks like I still have just one or two little things that need to be poked out. And then I'm going to Wink-a-Stella the spider web too. I don't know if you can see that, but that just gives them little bit of shiny. I don't know if you can see that or not. That gives them a little bit of shiny. So we'll just set those aside for now and start assembling this. Now this card is the perfect card to use your black dimensionals. And I have some here somewhere. There. They got covered up. So, since there are several windows on this card, I'm going to be very liberal with my dimensionals because I hate it when the windows fall in. So I put dimensionals around the windows as well as around the outside of the card. Okay, and that way my card will not fall in. And yeah, these look like they're white, but once you take the paper off, they're black here. You see that? There we go. And then I'm going to take this piece and there. And that's okay that some of the dimensionals didn't hit. But this one right here, this corner didn't hit a dimensional, so I'm going to put one underneath it. Just to make sure that we're there. Because we don't want our card to sag. So now we can place our card on our backing and our backing on our card base. And this is going to be easier to just put the backing on the card base. So since we have dimensionals here, and I might put another one right here on the outer edge, right there, just to give it a little bit more support. There we go. Okay, and then we can put our bats on. And this one I'm going to tuck. This is why I stamped this towards the bottom so that I could put a bat right in there. And that's why that's stamped a little bit towards the bottom. And then my spider web is going to go down here. And then one bat is going to be flying up here near the moon. And one bat will be flying over here. There we go. Now for the inside piece, remember we had this piece right here? Now that looks pretty stark white also. So we're going to take our sponge dauber and again start off the paper and just kind of take the edges and make it windswept. There we go. So that just darkens it down a little bit. And then we'll take that and just put that on the inside. just like so. And there you have your spooky Halloween card. I hope you've enjoyed this project today. If you would like to reproduce this project and need any products and live in the United States, please check me out at terryscraftroom.com. There's a link over there to go shopping with me, and also all the information for sizes and making this card will be posted over there along with this video. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!